Founder of Ocie is Elena, and I just wanted to ask y'all a question. Do we enjoy gaming? It'll be a question I'll circle back to, but the game that spurred me into this curiosity was Overwatch.
International Task Force, charged with ending the war and restoring liberty to
Overwatch, created in 2016, was a landmark of a game. Many might posit that Team Fortress 2 was equally as influential, but some people seem to forget that, collectively speaking, Team Fortress 2 has only sold 50 million units, while Overwatch has sold 70 million units, making it the 6th most highest sold game in history, beating out Pokemon, Mario Kart, and Red Dead Redemption. Prior to this, the terminology of a hero shooter wasn't a part of our common vernacular, and any game following the release of Overwatch was immediately compared to it if it ever had gun plus ability, whether that be Bleeding Edge, Battleborn, Lawbreakers, the list goes on. The popularity of this series garnered its own esports scene. Many may point to the FGC as having its own competitive scene, but nothing on the scale of Overwatch. Like, this was insane. You've probably seen it before, the down spiral of Overwatch, the league scene and how it dwindled in popularity. And sure, there are absolutely valid critiques to be made about dive comps and what was meta at the time period, destroying people's ability to be engaged, watch it due to people being mandated to play what was valuable at the time period, and essentially dive being dead.
You're probably going to swap or else you're kind of throwing. And you could dodge all the stuns in the world by the Brigitte, but the nature of it is, just by that Brigitte existing, her passive armor that she gives via her heal, her passive aura health, how tanky she is, just the threat and the nuisance that she can zone you out, she counters you just by existing.
But a game doesn't live and die by its competitive scene. Biggest indicator I could use for that is probably Marvel Rivals and how it indicates to you that even in Celestial, you're at the 1% of the player base, meaning in the highest tier of gaming, that often represents the smallest amount of gamers actually enjoying said game. Brief reading of the data collected by Bogur 3 informs us that Bronze is 9%, Silver is 21%, Gold is 26%, Platinum 24%, Diamond 10%, Masters 5%, Grandmasters 2%, Champion 2%, and Top 500 less than 1% of the player base, which explains Frogger's egregious queue time. You might be wondering why I spend a considerable amount of time talking about averages and percentiles when it comes to the community. Well, to simply put, they're the people who are probably the most vocal when it comes to the game and the quality and state that it's in. Flats, Semino, Stylisso, J3. Now, there's certainly degrees in which these content creators have overall contributed to the negative environment of Overwatch, and some more positive than others, creating community events. But I believe that the ecosystem has been irreparably damaged to the point where the most defining trait about Overwatch fans is how often they can complain about something. I think nothing better illustrates that point than me discussing Dead by Daylight. Back in 2016, Dead by Daylight was a hackneyed job by a small development team to create a fun experience between survivor and killer. What drastically set this game apart from most horror-oriented games is that, different than having an AI or some complex computer playing the killer, the other side was a player as well, along with similarly Left 4 Dead generated map design, so you wasn't exactly playing the same map every single time. The game soon exploded into popularity, and me being one of the most avid players at the time, I enjoyed it, and I still play it sometimes to this year. While I could argue that there are valid criticisms of the game, its jankiness, the spaghetti coding, the complexities of the coding, and how it's built upon a system that will inevitably create anomalies simply based on how primitive the system is, how demanding the new configurations are. I think we need to acknowledge that this was a little dev team that never imagined themselves becoming as popular as they are now. And some people are now considered Dead by Daylight content creators.
I'm starting to get a little nervous. Oh no.
I don't know if you guys have realized it, but we're reaching a decade in terms of how long the game's been out. Content creators like Space Coconut constantly spoke about how negatively they were having experiences with the game. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I think in large part a lot of the content creators who had constant negative criticisms about the game didn't realize how inherently fun it is, because if a game is able to keep your attention for that long, you cannot say it's a bad game. Flawed, yes. Bad, no. And more importantly, I don't think any game sensibly is ever supposed to keep your attention for that long. We have legendary games that are staples of the community, often harken as some of gaming's best ideas and a testament to creativity. Mario, Zelda, Infamous. The games go on in terms of single player experiences that we could talk about. But majority of people will probably say they play these games maybe 3 times at best. Understood, I think it's entirely insensible and irrational to believe a game is supposed to be holding your attention for this many hours. Or for a dev to not look at you like you have 3 heads when you have hundreds of hours within the game and then telling them that they made a bad game. Couldn't help but feel bad for the guy saying this much.
But currently, no matter what, it's just filled with stress and anger. Killers aren't feared anymore. Do you have any plans or ideas how you would like to improve the killer experience? Well, I would say maybe try Survivor for a bit. No, but it's true. I mean, change it up. Maybe you're just tired, you know, or play something else for a week. Try Civilization or something, just for a refreshing change.
It wasn't even a spit in the face of the audience. It was just simply acknowledgement of attempting to find constant enjoyment from one game. Feels really demanding on the creators themselves to continuously make that game feel fun. So what happens when you have the most prominent and popular voices constantly expressing the negative experience with a game they've been playing since its inception for nearly a decade?
They will be annihilated.
Perpetual Negativity seems to be the most defining trait for Overwatch. What can we possibly complain about now? Acity doesn't feel impactful enough? Buff him and then watch the community complain about how strong he is. Sombra's gameplay loop felt a little unfair? Nerf her and then watch the same people who point out how unfun her gameplay loop is immediately jump on the bandwagon to rear from all the immediate outrage to changes.
Chat, I don't mean to alarm you, but I got my first orbit. Or not my first orbit, sorry, my first...
Playing Sombra flat. That might be part of your problem right now.
Sorry, my first EMP.
Great, I can't wait for this.
Guys,
oh, you already used it?
Wait, why are they not dying? Wait, what happened, guys?
Oh wait, you used
dying.
it? I didn't use
the idea of a rework. I unfortunately think this version of Sombra is one wake-up call type patch away from being solid.
Despite not being a Sombra main and Sombra mains actually enjoying the character. Don't like Mauga or Horse because they feel boring? Why not we add a dynamic? Why not we add a dynamic tank that can do a multitude of things? Block off choke points, climb to get better optional areas, and overall just make him a fun character to play. To inevitably watch the community complain about how overtuned they are. And this goofy ass damned if you do, damned if you don't mentality keep the devs in the chokehold, not acknowledging that they're only giving people what they're asking for. Every conceivable change you've seen to Overwatch throughout the years was a byproduct of the communal feedback. People will complain about how Doom is less expressive and less fun to play, but ignore almost how many people were outcrying about the inability to do anything against a Doom player.
Oh, here we go again. Hold right click, kills one person.
No.
Oh.
Oh?
Oh my god, is that gate quaked on? Oh my. I was. Wow, okay. Oh my god. Hello?
easy.
Jesus.
I don't know. Oh, shit. Now you're going to his montage? Dude, what? He right-clicked me once. Half charged up while I'm discorded. and then I fucking die.
Complain about supports. Despite the fact that any support with a high amount of healing and can do nothing else have some of the worst win rates. Like literally one trick Mercy mains can at best manage a coin flip when it comes to winning percentages and high elos. This expands out to more than just gaming and balancing. It goes into cosmetics as well.
Up top, you big doofus.
I remember people non-stop chatting up about how Venture ain't got no clothes, he ain't got no skins, like the only way he can got that shit on is by color variants. Only for this nigga to get a skin and for people to still be bitching. And now what they're loud about? Ramatra, Lucio, and Baptiste, which granted they ain't get any skins, but why wasn't this discourse as loud as Venture when he came out? Most of it is because it's performative. Like Venture has some of the lowest pick rates in terms of characters, and granted I love the character, but I can at the very least acknowledge why Juno got immediately the amount of skins they did, and it wasn't because of Dunabate. The character is genuinely fun to play, not in just low elos, but in competitive ranking as well.
And today we're going to talk about why. There are 3 factors in particular that have resulted in Juno as a mainstay in the meta. Number 1, Juno's range. This actually matters a lot, and I didn't initially consider just how strong this could be. Lucio, for example, has to be playing with the DPS or tank that he is enabling. Juno, on the other hand, does not need to do that. She is able to heal at range with nearly perfect accuracy. She's also able to speed from range, which is also very strong in terms of enabling her team. Juno has a significant amount of control over her positioning due to her ability to enable her team from nearly everywhere on the field.
To the point where Juno had a meta built around her, and that was Diva through the speed ring.
Characters getting skins gives them more money after all. It's just basic business. I'm not fucking stupid. But that doesn't mean Blizzard should just straight up ignore the rest of the cast in determining who gets skins. Venture does not fit into this popular category, by the way. I bet you guys forgot the video was about Venture, right? Venture's pick rate is a bit lower than the middle of the pack, and because of this, you can expect Blizzard to not include them in any good collaboration events. But I think a character's popularity is a shitty way to determine who gets skins.
Yeah, this video is fucking garbage, I ain't gonna lie to you. Brody deadass ignored the most objective and most poignant reason as to why the character wouldn't sell as many skins, knowing that Juno has probably one of the highest pick rates in the fucking game. It's worse as we keep going on. People constantly cry about Ramatra not getting a skin, but then when Ramatra gets a skin in one of the most famous animes of all time, Gundam, people immediately move on to talking about Echo because it's a robot collab.
And it was like, oh, it could be Echo, which would actually make a lot of sense because Echo is already a flying robot in Overwatch, right? But now, however, unfortunately, we know that that is not the case. But I feel like this was a collaboration that could have just been in the bag, and Blizzard once again fumbled that bag. At times, it's supposed to be like Overwatch characters cosplaying the characters in the collabs, but this, I don't know, something about it is just off-putting. It's weird. It's like uncannily weird. I don't know how to phrase it.
And those people are speaking out of ignorance because Gundam's mobile suits are actually humans piloting mecha suits, so they're not robots, but uncultured swine will constantly talk out of the side of their necks whenever they get a chance to. Basically meaning that the more accurate skins would actually be Reaper, Soldier 76, and Mercy because they're humans with robot mechanics over top of them. So it'd be more akin and more parallel to the actual lore of the anime. And Echo got a skin when they did the whole Anubis season as well. Naturally, these people would seek out a new avenue, a new game to play, and that would be Marvel Rivals just made sense in terms of its explosion in popularity. It took a lot of inspiration from Overwatch and basically took a winning formula and applied it to one of the most popular IPs of recent years.
Marvel Rivals is actually killing Overwatch.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The third-person shooter has been smashing records since release and literally has a multiverse of potential content to tap into.
as a byproduct of the MCU. Naturally, through the honeymoon phase, people are just glossing, pure glazing the game. The true Overwatch sequel is many of these goofy ass niggas titles.
Overwatch 1.
Don't you mean Overwatch 2?
Listen to me. No matter what they try to tell you, they're the same goddamn thing, you hear me?
So, will Rivals ever reach the gargantuan heights that Overwatch did in the beginning? I highly doubt it. But I'm telling you this here and now, this is the next big thing, and it'll be big for quite a damn while.
Overwatch comeback is real, and I couldn't be more happy or surprised about it. Turns out, Marvel Rivals didn't kill Overwatch, it forced it to improve. And not only that, because Marvel Rivals is so sharply designed, it doesn't appeal to everybody, even though it's more of a mainstream game, so that means we brought a whole bunch of new players to the hero shooter genre, and if you want a game that is more polished, with more carry impact, with better performance, and overall better balancing. I mean, they try to balance Overwatch, and they don't with Marvel Rivals. Boom, there you go. Bob's your uncle. Overwatch somehow pulled off the rope-a-dope. They barely added much of anything, just sort of released things that they were already working on, kept the course, didn't flip the table again and reinvent everything and switch it all to mirror what Marvel Rivals was doing. Instead, what they did was stay the course for the most part, other than adding, you know, hero bans, which they should have done like 100 years ago. The present state of Overwatch, as well as the future, is looking good to me. And it's the first time in a while that I felt fan consensus agreed on that.
Ignoring how limited the game is in terms of game modes. Run down some. We got Escort, Hybrid, Deathmatch, Pushbot, Capture the Flag, Control, Assault, Elimination, Bounty Hunter, Mystery Hero, Arcade, Competitive, Low Gravity, Quick Play, and Duel.
Overwatch 2 tier list you will ever watch. In this video, I'll be ranking every single mode in the game from S to F to tell you which one is the very best. In fact, by the end of this video, not only will you know all the best modes to play, but you even know exactly how to have the most fun possible when playing the game. Because at the end of the day, that's what gaming is all about. Let's start off immediately with a great mode, Mystery Heroes.
In comparisons to Marvel Rivals that has Domination, Convoy, and Convergence. I ain't exaggerating, that's fucking it. But hopping on bandwagons for the sake of that viewership and confirmation bias does wonders for people, you know what I mean? And a lot of these content creators at the earliest time period of Marvel Rivals at the honeymoon phase said, oh, this game would never get toxic. Marvel Rivals is better. Overwatch could never.
There we go. Nice, good stuff. They're both, their Storm is also kind of annoying. It's good stuff, Spidey.
Until the game eventually got toxic, because games are going to get toxic because people are toxic.
In the end, I think it was just the toxicity of your actual teammates towards me that just sent me over the edge. Like, I would end every stream in just the worst mood because even my teammates, and the only way to fix this was to mute everyone, right? Which is no fun for anyone. Like, just playing the game solo queue, like voice comm muting my teammates. So like to protect my mental, it's just, I feel like it's kind of half the fun that you're just fucking missing.
There's a reason why prominent Overwatch toxic content creators like GS, Raider, Code Sparks, and Grotech were able to transition so seamlessly into making content into Marvel Rivals the way they did.
Why? Brad just switched. You didn't do anything last against two players.
Oh, and we got toxicity. Bro! You can't.
What are you doing?
You keep blaming it. You keep blaming everybody else. This vid shows that in Rivals, the higher you go, the more toxic the game gets. Comment if you agree, and I hope you enjoy.
A lack of accountability from players, racism always being prominent within gaming, and a lack of self-awareness from a lot of gamers that follow the collective figureheads of any given community to spout the exact same talking points in moments where it's not applicable. but regurgitating them gives them the aesthetics of being informed and knowledgeable about the game. The honeymoon phase seems to be over because the game just doesn't offer enough to keep people engaged. Perhaps they'll have a comeback soon enough, who's to say? And worst of it all, people who genuinely enjoy Overwatch have to constantly have these goofy ass niggas show up in their comment section talk about some, bro, Marvel Rivals is free. Bro, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Marvel Rivals is where it's at. These niggas make my ass itch. Because you know, these niggas ain't really gamers like that. They don't pay attention to the statistics or the player base or how much people are actually enjoying the newest seasons. They're engagement farming, point blank. That's the whole purpose of them shouting out to the rooftops. They treat gaming as teams. It was equally as toxic when people were doing it during the heights of popularity from Overwatch, when games like Battleborn were just giving updates to the players who did enjoy the game. Constantly have people in the comment sections talking about some, oh, Overwatch is free. Like, nigga, can you get the fuck off the page and let people enjoy the fucking game? That is not to say that I'm not happy for some content creators to have another avenue and game to play. Bogur brought it up in the most eloquent way. He brought up how these insane challenges he forced himself into was a byproduct of no longer finding Overwatch fun to play anymore.
Realized why I was so miserable and why I was stuck in this mental state of feeling like a complete loser. I just didn't love competing in Overwatch. As a matter of fact, I don't think I even love this game.
GG's.
GG's. Team Schmungus gave it our all, but in the end...
Team Schmungus. It's over for Team Schmungus.
Is
Team
that
Schmungus pulled into a back alley and shot 27 times.
I don't think I've loved this game since 2017, and it's not because the game got worse. It's because I'm burnt out. It didn't matter how many hours I put in the game, I could never be the best. Because to be truly the best, you need to have this fire, this passion, this desire to be the best, and I just did it purely out of spite. I treated this like a job. The reason why I do so many challenges is because it's a chore for me to queue up ranked. No matter how many times I prove myself, no matter how many times I get to top 10, top 5, top 3, it didn't matter, because even if I got rank 1 today, I would still feel empty inside and miserable.
And putting himself through these ridiculous challenges was a way to ensure that the game was entertaining in some regard, but ultimately he just didn't enjoy it. I prefer that acknowledgement than some contortion of how unfun the game is. Overwatch is bringing so many great things to the game. We currently got Stadium, that's brought back a lot of people that swore they would never play the game again, playing it again. Don't 360 like this because the game was just not fun. The game has always been fun. You've just been playing it so long that it only makes sense that you will fall out of love with it. Even now, I've played Dead by Daylight so often that I find myself playing 3 games at max and then only returning when there's a gigantic collab.
We get much higher, so high.
I have hedonistic adaptation, what I'd like to introduce to y'all. Spectacle, phenomenon, and the enjoyment of something has diminishing returns, inevitably resulting in us not enjoying something as much as we did at one point. Turn around and treat the thing that we used to enjoy as this if there's some inherent flaw with it doesn't make any sense. I wanted this video to serve as a supposed wake-up call and to make people ask themselves, do they enjoy gaming? Do they enjoy playing video games? Do they enjoy Overwatch? I've been playing it for roughly a year now, and certainly there's going to be a point in time where I'll no longer enjoy it, but I just don't see the problems that people constantly attempting to inundate me with, because I simply just find it to be a fun game, and that's the reason why I'm still part of the community and I'm highly invested in seeing it prosper. But that's everything for me. The one above, Elena, and see ya.